Hello guys, Broken Gamer here, and welcome back to Seduce Me, the Otome. Now, last time we fought Malix. Well, I didn't, James did. And of course, he won, and I asked the boys to stay! Yay! So now, and then we met Diana. A succubus who wanted to bring the boys back to the demo world. And now, we are going to school. And the person I'm playing mistakenly said that nothing was going to happen. And the last sentence was, never say nothing is going to happen before the day is over. And that is kind of a true statement, and I kind of had a feeling that Diana would be coming back, which I suspect she is, because well, I just know she's going to be back because I doubt she would leave so suddenly and welcomingly. So here we go. I avoided talking about the ride back home yesterday, saying that the ride was a one-time thing. I'll be running with you guys from to and from school. I totally missed the part of that sentence. I'll be riding with you guys from now on to and from school. Okay, so I read that time. The girls seemed very happy. We entered the school, gathered our things from our lockers, and headed to class. There were no events to our surprise. This one wasn't exactly fun, but our teacher was great. At least he would have been if he were in class that day. Oh no. Naomi and Zuzu took their seats around me, Zuzu in front of me and Naomi beside me.
Students, you'll be having a substitute for class today. Everyone meet.
I totally missed the part of the last sentence, but we'll just move on. Okay.
Miss Diana.
I knew it! I knew it! I knew she wouldn't give up so easily. My heart stopped. At the door with the dean was Diana, looking over at the students smirking as her eyes landed on me. She strutted to the teacher's desk, ignoring or welcoming the whispers from the other students, before sitting on the wood and crossing her legs.
Thank you, Dean. You can go now.
With a wave of Diana's hand, the dean left the classroom, closing the door, and left the area. Diana smiled at us, making my stomach turn. What was she going to do?
So, history. History. Such a silly thing, isn't it? I mean, what do we care about the past? We're in the present.
We're in history class. We're supposed to be learning about history. Even though history is boring as hell. Sure, we're in the present, but actually learning from the past is a good thing. Because you learn about the mistakes that have been made, and you can learn about the choices you'll make in the future. So learning about the past is a good thing, even though to me it's boring as hell. Well, at least things that have happened way back. I have learned from my past mistakes, and so looking at my past, I know about the mistakes I've made and know how to make things better in the future. So learning from the past is actually a good thing. And now I'm getting off topic and going in the whole emotional direction. So I'm back to the story. Get back into the story, Broken Gamer. Come on. The rest of the class, including Naomi and Zuzu, hesitantly nodded in agreement, unsure about this new teacher, but willing to listen to more of what she had to say.
The present is so full of wonderful things. While the labors of the past are the reason we have many things, it is our chance and privilege to utilize what has been given to us.
Her charm was almost infectious. The class was practically starting to eat out of her hand. I looked around the classmates, grinning and agreeing with Diana. I pressed my lips together and listened further. I had no choice.
What's even funnier about human beings is that some of the bits of history we hear as either made up or completely biased to one side. It's like a story you read as a child. You hear of the princess and the prince, and they live happily ever after. But what about the family she left behind? What of her friends?
The students listened and agreed intently to her words. I could tell, however, that these words were all targeted at me.
The original story of The Little Mermaid, a perfect example of biased opinion. Here we have a girl who thinks she can be with this prince, but this prince has to marry a princess. What would happen if the mermaid had her way? What makes the mermaid so important that the princess has to suffer the consequences?
Oh, come on, Diana. I'm not gonna keep quiet. Even though that's what we do in real life, it's not... I'm not gonna let her win. Doesn't matter what happened to the princess. The rest of the class turned their heads to me. Naomi and Zuzu looked at me with equally surprised looks. I kept my eyes on Diana. If I was the mermaid, I wasn't gonna let the princess take my prince away. Diana stared at me before smiling and turning her body to fully face me.
Oh? And why does it not matter?
The story isn't about the princess. The story is about the mermaid and the prince.
Ah, but that is exactly my point. While the story talks about the mermaid and the prince's romance, we don't see the problems of the kingdom the prince rules. While we are all fixated with this love story, we ignore the fact the kingdom would fall apart without the marriage between the prince and princess.
She kept her eyes on me as she spoke. I knew she wanted to make her words stick in my mind, but I didn't listen. For one thing, it was one thing to be a fictional story. It was another to try and ruin someone else's life for selfishness. Diana chuckled and looked back to the class.
Well, luckily in the real story of The Little Mermaid, the mermaid knows that what she was doing was wrong, and she threw herself into the ocean, turning into sea foam.
That's not what happened. Some of the students that surrounded me mumbled in surprise, obviously not knowing the real story. However, Diana was wrong once again. That's not true. Once again, the class looked at me, and Diana faced me with another smile.
Not true? How so?
The trade-off for becoming human was marrying the prince, or turning into sea foam. However, she was also given the choice to kill the prince and turn back into a mermaid. The mermaid didn't because she loved him and sacrificed herself for that love. That is a story worth telling, not some princess getting her way, but of all the tragedy that had befallen a girl who only wanted love. The class applauded me with Suzu giving me her usual punch to my shoulder and Naomi smiling at my logic. Diana, however, finally grew an almost angered face at me.
Interesting. So what you are saying is that the princess should be given no mind.
The story is not about the princess. The story is about the mermaid. And the mermaid should have gotten the prince.
Even at the risk of a kingdom falling apart?
Even if the entire world fell apart around them, duty does not overrule love, and the princess needs to realize this. The applause that followed intensified with whoops and hollers. I felt a wave of confidence roll through my body. Diana wasn't going to win. I wasn't going to let her. Nope. I'm not going to let her win. I'm not going to let her take James from me. Diana then stopped talking and looked at the clock on the wall, reading it quickly. This class had barely begun. Why was she looking at the time? Diana then leaned against the blackboard and smiled as I became worried. Oh geez, what are you going to do, Diana?
You know what? School isn't important. Everyone, go ahead and head home. Take the week off.
School is still important. It really is. Although I say that, I am glad I'm out of it. The students suddenly began to chat happily or in confusion at the situation. Many thought it was a dream come true, others knew better. Before anyone could protest, however, Diana pressed her fingers to her lips and counted down with her fingers in the air. 3, 2, 1. The speakers of the classroom gently woke, giving us an announcement we would never believe.
Attention students! Due to an emergency faculty meeting, we will be closing school for the remainder of the day and this entire week. Please leave the school quickly and quietly and have a good rest of the week.
She used her powers on them. Damn it! I felt the need to stop her, but how would I stop a demon in the middle of a public area? Dan smiled before gesturing to the door.
Have a nice week off. School will resume next week.
Many of the students filed out, chatting to each other with an impromptu plans. Zuzu was beyond happy, and Naomi was hesitant. Before we could pack up and leave, Diana stepped to us.
Excuse me, little miss. I'd like you to stay a little while. There's something we need to discuss.
As Diana looked to Zuzu and Naomi, she snapped her fingers, making my friends tense up. Oh no, what are you doing?
You two can head home. Don't worry about your friend until next week, okay? If you contact her, she won't reply, so don't bother. If she contacts you, ignore her, because she's just fine.
Oh no. As if on command, Zuzu and Naomi left the room. I tried to march after them, but Diana stepped in my path, warning me with her eyes that if I followed, there would be hell to pay. I had lost my two friends, at least for the week. Diana and I were alone, just like she wanted. I slammed my hands on the desk in front of me and glared at Diana. What are you doing, and what are you thinking? And why this music?
What? Do I not make a good teacher? I figured you should have a little lesson, so I took matters into my own hands.
Whatever you're trying to do won't work.
You really think so, dear? And what makes you so sure about that?
What was making me so sure? Why was I so confident? Were the boys worth this? Yes. James is totally worth it. My thoughts began to fill with doubt. All the uncertainties about this whole ordeal began to cloud my mind. If the boys were ever found out, there'd be hell to pay. Was it worth it? What about Diana? What would she do to me? Would she make my parents forget about me completely? Would she ruin my friends' lives out of spite? In my gut, I felt a stone of confidence try to fight back, but the heaviness of my thoughts began to dissolve that stone little by little. It's gotta be Diana! What was going on with me? I looked up at Diana once again, seeing her gaze boring into my eyes. She was using her powers on me. This time I was away from home, so I couldn't escape. Oh no! Or could I? Did I want to? The way she stared at me made me feel warm and fuzzy inside my chest, like I was melting. No, stop using your powers on me. Stop it. Stop it. I don't want it. No. Dale lifted her hand on my chin and ran her thumb over my lips, licking her own. I could feel little shots of energy zipping from under my skin into my chin where she held me.
Now, let's have a little taste of that sweet, virginal sexual energy.
No. I watched as she leaned in, ready to kiss me and take my energy. Half my body felt elation at the idea, the other half completely rejected it, and didn't want her even to touch me. Ugh. James. Suddenly Diana stopped in her tracks.
James, who is...
It then dawned on her. I can't read. Apparently visual novels are not my strong suit if I can't read a sentence. It then dawned on her.
Ah, one of the boys. Why don't you tell me which boy is James?
I felt myself nodding complaint. The oldest. Diana giggled in reply before letting go of my face and stepping back.
Really? The eldest son with you?
I nodded again, but this time it was partially my own decision to reply. Diana let out a sound that mimicked a cat's purr before stepping away from me.
Alright then. Well, if it's the eldest son you're infatuated with, you should really rethink your romantic options.
Oh! Diana tickled before kissing my nose, where I felt a shot of my energy zap out of my body that almost makes me dizzy and recoil. Diana then turned to the desk and sat on the wood, crossing her legs.
You can go now. Remember, no class for the rest of the week.
And how am I supposed to get home? My 2 friends left me here thanks to you.
Oh, were
Yeah.
they your ride? My apologies. Let me help then.
How are you going to help? Diana then lifted her hands and snapped her fingers. Suddenly I felt the floor swing from beneath me, forcing me to look down. A purple pentagram surrounded my feet, pulling me into the ground. Whoa! I would be very surprised like that too. Before I could fight it, however, I sank fully into the floor, fading into darkness and shutting my eyes. As I opened them, I felt my silk sheets wrap around me, soothing my anxiety from the darkness that had previously surrounded me. What the? Why did Diana bring me home? Was this an illusion? Was I being tricked? Something was going on. I sat up in my bed and looked around me. I was indeed in my room. There was no mistake about that. Why? Diana is too strange. Yes, she is. Was this a game? Was this part of her plan to get the boys back? I was lost and confused more than ever, despite my logical thought trying to piece the puzzle that is Diana together. The more I tried to solve, the less I understood the situation I was in. I was interrupted, however, with my door suddenly being opened, revealing the boys with Damien's hand on the doorknob. Oh, hey, guys! I'm home!
Miss, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in school?
Supposed to be. But then Diana showed up. I felt my eyebrows and stared at Damien, asking him to answer their questions through my thoughts.
Diana sent her back here. She invaded her school and sent all the students back home.
What is that bitch up to? Seriously! Diana's playing around for no reason.
It's part of her plan.
The boys continued to argue back and forth about Diana, feeling an almost jealous curiosity in me. Damien seemed to be too deep within the talking to notice my thoughts, where he didn't even stop talking alongside his brothers. Why was Diana after them? Why did she want to bring them back? What was so important about the boys that she would travel to the human world to get them? What was going on? Yeah, that is the really big question here. What is going on? I want answers. I decided enough was enough. I needed answers. Hey! The boys stopped arguing, staring at me in surprise. I held my hands in fists on my lap, mustering the courage to continue to speak despite my abrupt shout. Why is Diana here? Why did she want to bring all you back? What exactly did you all run from? Why did you run from it?
Miss, we...
Don't miss me, please. I need to know what's going on. I won't be left in the dark about this. I want to know what I'm facing. The boys looked at each other hesitantly, unsure of what to reply. Finally, Sam pushed Damien towards the bed, making him buckle and land on his knees, with his torso over the edge of the mattress.
Damien, do the thing.
The thing? What thing?
Sam, you're not suggesting.
Why not? She deserves to know everything, especially if Diana is targeting her. Sam's right.
What are you gonna do?
I guess we have no choice then.
I was getting confused. What was Damien about to do? Damien stood before climbing on the bed with me, sitting across from me on his knees.
We're going to show you everything. You have to trust me, okay? The minute you stop trusting me, the vision will stop.
Vision?
Please, just trust him.
I looked at James, unsure of what was going on, but I nodded. If this was the only way to learn, then this was my chance to know. Damien gently placed his hands on each of the sides of my head, gently pressing his thumbs into my skin just above my eyebrows. I could only stare at Damien as his eyes began to glow and energy began to be both pulled out of me and forced into my head. Within seconds, my vision went black and once again. I was unsure of what Damien was doing, but soon shapes and textures slowly began to appear around me. I found myself sitting on the stone floor in the middle of what looked like a fantasy throne room. Where am I? I looked down at myself only to see my body transparent as a ghost. Whoa! I jumped up and inspected my hands in sudden panic. I was see-through. Why? What was going on? Why am I see-through?
How dare they try to negotiate with me? Do they not know whom they speak to?
That does not sound like a friendly voice. I gasped and ran behind a nearby pillar, away from the voice. The sound of his anger and words frightened every bone in my body, turning me into a frightened child.
My lord, please calm yourself.
Calm? They're merely testing my resolve. I have more than half of a mind to send my greatest armies to take what should be mine. They are mere insects in the way of my kingdom's expansion.
They merely asked for a marriage joining.
So I'm to bow to them and share my land that I have so rightfully conquered?
I peeked from behind the pillar to see a large demon covered in royal clothes, but buff enough to be a military commander. His rage practically emanated from his body as he growled at his servant.
They are willing to give their land to you, sire. All they ask is for one of your sons to marry their daughter, whom I might add is as beautiful as can be.
This is ridiculous! To suggest that I need their approval to take their land is beyond insanity. What makes them think I care about their precious daughter?
Did I mention that she is a prodigy of her kind, sire?
A prodigy?
Yes, my lord. This succubus is a master of her skills in magic and mind manipulation. She is said to sway armies with a snap of her fingers, despite being as young as she is.
Impossible!
If only it were, sire. This succubus is dangerous, but would be a great asset to have should we agree to this arrangement. The only reason she cannot faze you, my lord, is because you are the strongest demon in the plains.
Is this supposed to change my mind?
The way he said that, it's like, are you seriously kidding me?
Yes, my lord.
At least he's honest.
You are doing a terrible job at convincing me.
My apologies, sire.
I was lost. I could tell they were talking about Diana, but why?
Father.
I quickly turned my head to see another demon who looked like a mere child, staring at the demon commander on the throne. Father?
Ah, Ray Stroud. Have you finished your training?
James? Because that's James's real name.
Yes, Father.
Then what do you want?
I want to be with my brothers the best of the day, Father.
The demon commander walked to the young demon, gripped his hair, picking him up off the ground and forcing him to look up at his snarl. The young demon, however, looked unfazed.
Huh. Arrogance. Why should I allow you to be with them? I should kill you for your lack of respect to me.
Because I want to be with them, Father.
You can only stare as the young demon faced his father. Despite the massive difference between them, this young demon seemed weaker and easy to kill versus the demon commander. Why would this man kill his son, though? Was this commander that ruthless? However, I wasn't expecting him to laugh and release the young demon.
Good! Assertive even in the face of danger. That is why you are my favorite son.
Yes. I can only stare wide-eyed as the commander placed his hand down on the demon's shoulder.
Very well. Go. Tomorrow, you will show me your training.
The little demon grinned before running off.
I have a thought.
Yes, my lord?
How old is this daughter?
As old as your 5th, sire.
Do you believe this proposal is worth it?
Oh.
Yes, sire.
Tell those insects that they are safe for now. I will consider their offer.
Sire, are you certain?
Did I stutter? Now go!
The demon servant quickly ran off, but as soon as he passed the pillar I was hiding behind, he, along with the commander, vanished into thin air. What is going on? What had happened? I didn't get time to try and figure it out before a demon who looked around my age walked into the room reading a book. Is that?
Racetrow, your nose is stuck in those books. Will you not lift your head up from them once in a while?
Huh? That voice. I circled around the pillar to see a second demon leaning against another pillar, smirking at Racetrow.
Aren't you supposed to be with your mother practicing the harpsichord?
I am, but I had a feeling that you were in danger.
In danger? What are you...
Attack!
What? All of a sudden, 3 shadows zipped through the room and slammed into Racetrow, forcing him to fall on the ground and drop his book. Oh, that had to hurt. As the sight cleared for me, there were 3 other demons dogpiled on top of Ray, with Racetrow on the bottom.
Get up!
That sounds like James' voice.
No way! You haven't had a break in months from those stupid books. It's time for punishment!
Death by brotherhood!
No more reading!
Is that demon?
I told you that you
I
were
know
in
that's
danger.
Eric. That definitely sounds like Eric. But the third one, but the one that kind of sounds like Damien doesn't really sound like him, though. But suddenly I knew who these demons were. It's the voice. Even in the demon world, their brotherly connection was astounding. They were merely younger versions of themselves. One of the demons, who I assumed was Matthew, grabbed the book from the floor and opened it, reading it mockingly.
How can you read this, Racetrow? It's all about war strategy. It's boring.
I have to, Zakaru. Get off!
There's only one thing you need to know about strategy. Kill them all! Take no prisoners!
You sound just like father.
I couldn't help but giggle. Just keep seeing them acting childish with each other. Eventually, James managed to push his brothers off and stand brushing himself off.
You all are reckless.
At least we have fun.
It's true. You haven't been with us in weeks. Don't you think it's time for a break?
I'm sure Father won't mind.
But I have to... I know you want to, Racetrow. Damn it.
What is going on here?
Jeez. I shot my head to the voice of the commander. aged a little, staring at the boys with his arms crossed against his chest. Damien quickly dashed and hid behind Sam, peeking over his shoulder to see a large commander.
Nothing is going on. We just passed by each other.
Then why does your brother have your book?
I was showing him what I was learning, Father.
Return to your studies, Raystrow. The rest of you out of my sight. Do not disturb your brother again.
Oh, come on. I can almost stare as James gently took the book, and without looking at his brothers, returned to reading. The commander walked past the remaining brothers, growling at Sam and Damien before leaving the room. What was up with that?
Don't worry about it. We'll find a way to get him back.
I don't know. He's on a very tight leash.
Ezra, you're quiet. What did you hear? He's going to a negotiation meeting. He's going to arrange a marriage.
A marriage? For who? It must be for one of us.
To Diana.
He hasn't decided who will marry her. It's a girl from a kingdom he wants to take over.
But that's uncharacteristic of him. Usually he'd just attack with the army.
Whatever the case is, one of us is getting married. I hope it isn't me.
What about Ray Straw? He's the eldest.
It would make sense, but having a succubus marrying one of us means that she'll be practically married to all of us.
Oh, jeez.
Well, what should we do?
Before the conversation could continue, the boys vanished into thin air, fading into different colored mists. They were replaced by an older Damien and Matthew sitting with each other in the middle of the throne room.
Do you think we should?
I really want to.
Oh. The Damien forms don't actually look bad.
I want to as well. Still, it'll be hard to convince Raysturo, since he's the one about to be married, and he's the favorite.
We don't know that, Zakeru. Maybe she's set to marry you.
No way! I don't want to get married.
I don't think you'll have a problem with that baby face of yours.
Oh. Nice horns, Sam.
What are you two talking about?
We got into contact with the human world again.
Come on, Ezreal. You give humans too much attention.
No way, you gotta listen. They apparently have stores and books and schools and stuff.
So what? It's full of humans who piss on each other for no reason. They're no better than the devil's
Hey, Sam.
Nuh-uh, the one we were talking to wasn't like that.
How do you know, Zakeru?
Because I do!
What is going on
Ooh,
here?
James. Ooh, I like it.
They want to go to the human world.
I like James's design.
The human world?
Raysturo, think about it. You won't have to marry that girl and be the heir anymore. You could be with us, and we can make lives for ourselves in the new world.
Now you're just talking nonsense.
I vote that we do it.
Yeah, Eric. Eric's kind of handsome in his new form, too. They're all pretty good looking, we'll admit. But I still like James the best.
Huh? Oh, not you two.
Think about it. This may be our chance to finally get away from this political nonsense we're stuck in. We may be nobles, but we're still our own beings.
Ristro is in.
Damien and his mind-reading ability.
What? Ezreal!
Whoa, so how do we get there?
Are you kidding me? You don't even know how we'd get there.
A simple spell should work, but it would require someone from the human world to help us get there.
We can ask him.
Oh, he'd definitely help us.
I'm not so sure about...
Raystral, aren't you tired of pleasing Father all of the time?
I am, but...
If you stay, you'll be married off and become ruler of Father's kingdom. You'll have no time for yourself or with us, and you'll be constantly at war with the other realms for power. You'll most likely turn into the spitting image of Father.
Jeez. That would not be good.
What he's saying is, get your head out of your ass and let's go. If you don't say yes, I'll drag your princely ass with us. I don't care what that bastard of a father wants.
Sam!
Come on, Raistro!
All right, let's do this. What's the plan?
I couldn't believe what was happening. I was seeing the history of their lives before my eyes. They were nobles, and James was the heir to the kingdom of the commander ruled. Even more so, he's going to be married to Diana. Oh, they sacrificed everything to leave and be together. They'd rather be free than remain in their noble roles. I started to feel a little jealous. They were able to leave while I was still expected to be what my father wanted me to be. How they were able to leave was uncertain still, but I knew I would learn in time. I closed my eyes and mentally asked Damien to end the vision. As soon as I asked, the world around me slowly vanished, and I was brought back to the bedroom where I sat with my head nestled in Damien's hands. My vision began to clear, letting me fully see the boys around me, all with concerned faces.
So, you now know exactly who we are.
Diana is the girl you were arranged to marry?
Not anymore. Once we left, the arrangement was broken. With no sons to marry off, our dad couldn't go through with the marriage deal.
If Diana is here for us, that means she's trying to save her kingdom from being attacked.
That's not true. She wants to rule our kingdom. Having one of us will give her the right to our kingdom as much as we'd have right over hers.
So she's a gold digger!
Well, with a kingdom like ours, what succubus wouldn't want to marry us for it?
It all made sense. She wanted them so that she could finally take over in an opposing kingdom. She knew that despite her powers, she wouldn't be able to fight against their father, so she'd have to find another way in. That manipulative? Before I could continue, I felt my head suddenly get heavy and dizzy again. I gripped my head, muttering under my breath. What the?
I took too much. I'm so sorry.
Rest now. There's no need to do anything more.
Sorry, James, I interrupted you. I'll just continue forward. The boys suddenly rushed over to me and helped me lay back down as my vision was painted with white polka dots. I needed sleep badly. Instantly, I closed my eyes and let the darkness consume me. After what seemed like hours, I finally woke up, slightly refreshed. My body knew that if I slept a little longer, I'd be up all night, which was not part of the plan for the day. I rubbed my eyes and sat up, letting a soft groan escape my lips. In response, something beside my bed shuffled, causing me to look over. I didn't know what I was expecting. Beside me, sitting in a chair, besides my bed was James, rousing himself up to see me awake. I smiled at him, seeing his slightly ruffled hair and tired eyes.
Oh, you're awake. Good. How do you feel?
I feel better. I suppose we would feel fine in that situation, but I'm gonna say better. Just because it sounds like the better option. Jim nodded before he gently reached over and ran his hand through my hair, examining my face with a soft sadness.
I'm sorry this is all happening to you. I really wish there was something I could do to fix all of this.
Don't worry about it, James. James, it's not your fault.
No, if we never came, then you'd never be targeted by either Malix or Diana.
Yeah, but then I've never gotten to meet you. quickly reached over and put my finger to his lips, stopping him from going any further. I didn't want to hear anymore. James, it's okay. I wanted to help out. I offered to let you all stay. Nothing is your fault. I gently moved my hand and cupped James's cheeks. James's cheek, staring at him with concern. I didn't want him to hold guilt in his mind about this whole ordeal. Diana was desperate and she hurt anyone from him. It wasn't his fault she was desperate enough to hunt them down. However, I was curious. So James, you're a demon prince? James then twirled a strand of my hair around his finger, staring at it.
Yes, I am. I was.
Was?
I was a demon prince when I lived in the Abyssal Plains. I didn't enjoy a single minute of being the heir. The only moments I truly enjoyed were when I was with my brothers. Thus, I left with them to come here.
What was it like while you were there?
Well, other than consistent studying and training to be a resilient leader and all-around ruthless lord, it was bland. I never truly knew what freedom was until I was excused from my sessions.
James looked at me with a thoughtful look on his face. I stared back, wondering what was going through his mind. He then smiled before taking off his glasses and placing them on me. What? I was surprised, but instead of seeing him, I saw dark gold and purple magic swirl in front of my eye through the glass. What was going? What the what? The vision cleared, and I suddenly was back in the demon castle. I looked around, feeling stuck in place, but my eyes instantly landed on the demon version of James. He was sitting on the throne in the main hall, reading over a book with an intense expression. It's kind of cute, but he read in silence.
You'll wear out your eyes if you read too much.
Who? James looked up from his book to see a figure materialize in front of him. It was an older woman with a black cloak and aged horns. I could see she had power, though it gave me shivers to look at her.
Sirona, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at the Lord gathering with my father?
I should, yes. But I had to stop by and see the Demon Lord's favorite son before I head in.
I am honored. However, I must apologize and return to my reading.
Of course. Wouldn't want to make the Demon Lord angry now, would you?
I could see James' eyes twitch at her comment. However, James simply bowed his head and went back to reading his book in silence. Sirona shook her head and let out a chuckle.
What will you do when you become the Demon Lord? It's such a big responsibility.
James looked up once again, confused at the question. Sirona simply smiled and began to walk away.
Think about that.
James and I watched her walk away, both of us with the same surprise and confused expression. I looked back to James to see him press his lips together and stare at the floor. Anyone could tell he was lost, unsure of how to even answer that to himself. It's strange to see him in a form of weakness, jostled at a simple question that was more than it appeared. James closed his eyes and closed the book in his lap. It was then that I noticed the tired circles under his eyes. He had been working himself to the bone with his training and reading. When was the last time he slept? Probably not in a long time. I could feel James in the real world gently sliding his glasses from my face and placing them back on his. Took me a second to recenter my vision, but then I looked at James, who smiled at me.
It was then that I decided to find my brothers. Little did I know that they were wanting me to come on a trip that would make me leave my entire realm to be in a new world.
I stared at him surprised before bringing my hand gently back to his cheek and running my thumb softly under his eye. He looked healthier and a lot less tired than when I saw him in the vision. Something about that made me happy. James gently leaned in to my hand, closing his eyes and relaxing. He then slightly smiled, trying to joke.
So, how does it feel to hold the affections of an ex-demon prince?
Well, I kinda like it. I stared, feeling my cheeks go red in surprise and embarrassment, but I smiled and giggled softly, running my thumb back and forth along his cheek gently. I have to say, I'm flattered to think you ran away from that life. James frowned, making me stop moving my thumb as he stared at me.
I can promise you, that was no life to live.
Sorry. But it was your home.
A home is where you can be yourself, not tied to your duty.
That is true. A true home is where you feel loved and accepted and where you can be yourself. Sorry, I'm starting to get into that emotional stuff again. Darn it, stop it. Back to this. James gently ran his hand along my cheek, gingerly outlining the edge of my eye and ear with his thumb.
Home is where all I have to do is care about the ones close to me.
Yes. James leaned in and smiled and gently leaned in, kissing my forehead. I felt a small shiver run down my spine from his kiss, noting that he sneakingly took some energy from me in that little kiss. James.
Now, you need to rest. You're not fully recovered. You might as well rest until dinner is ready.
Aw. James smiled and gently pressed me back into the bed, leaning his forehead on mine. We're gonna steal a kiss. I'm not just gonna smile at him. Steal a kiss, baby. Out of playful fun, I lifted my head and gently kissed James, softly laying a hand on his cheek to keep his face close. James stared in surprise before kissing me back, caressing my cheek, slightly melting at the touch of our lips. A soft sigh escaped his lips before he slowly pulled away with a smile. He gently licked his lips, making me go red in the face at the simple gesture. He let out a satisfied hum before nuzzling my forehead.
Rest.
Oh, okay. With that, he stood up and left the room, leaving me to rest, as per his request. I smiled to myself before relaxing into the mattress. Diana, you get out of here, Diana. I suddenly tensed up. I felt majorly uneasy. Something wasn't right. I felt it in my core. She must be here. The thought of her in my house infuriated me beyond belief. I had to make sure she was not here. I rolled out of bed and quickly left my room, wandering the halls and listening closely. She was a demon, but I listened very intently. There was no way she would have been able to sneak up on me. I know you're here. Where are you? I could feel myself growl. It was a matter of fear that she would take away the boys. And it wasn't a matter of fear that she'd take away the boys anymore. Her very existence had lit a fire of rage within my gut, which only grew as each day went by. This feud was getting on my nerves, and I knew it would not end well for one of us. I wasn't going to lose to that demon bitch.
Diana, what are you doing here?
James? My heart stopped. Diana was with James? My mind flew in slow motion, playing fake images of Diana trying to seduce James in my head. to further fan the angry flame inside of me. Instinctively, I followed James's voice and approached the study. The door was open just a crack, enough for me to peek in without being noticed. Again with this music. I peeked inside to see James by the bookshelf with Anne in one of the armchairs looking to him.
Silly man, why do you think I'm here?
Back off, Anne, he's mine.
To be fairly honest, I don't really care.
I'm hurt, wounded, truly. You don't care that I came to this pathetic little world just for you?
I'm sorry, let me make this clear. You are not welcome here, so I...
Is that any way to speak to your fiancé?
Diana wasn't his fiancé anymore. Why was she speaking as if the arrangement was still going on?
Our arrangement was broken when I left the Abyssal Plains. You are no longer my fiancé.
What a stubborn man. Just like your father. Well, you should know. He decreed that should you return home, you'll maintain your status and keep your birthright.
James would be the heir again? Why?
I don't want it.
You don't want it? You'd give up the...
I said I don't want my damned birthright!
Oh.
What birthright? It's imprisonment! A life sentence! Am I not allowed to be selfish for once in my lifetime?
It's your reason for your birth. Do you not realize what you have?
I could feel James's anger emitting from the crack of the door, fighting with Diana's tension. Diana and James were both matched, staring each other down. Yeah, James doesn't want to be there anymore, so you can leave him alone.
I know exactly what I had. That's all behind me. I'm done with that. To hell with my birthright.
Yes, James can stay here if he wants. You don't command him, Diana.
To hell with your birthright. You truly think you can decide that? You are the first son of the Demon Lord. You are the heir to the throne, and I am your bride, the next Demon Queen.
Why was Diana so desperate? It irked me to see how desperate she was trying to get James to return.
Greystraw, you...
Oh, using his name, his real name, not a good idea, Diana. All of a sudden, James ran at Diana, pinning her to the floor by her neck. I felt the need to jump in, but I knew James wasn't trying to do anything romantic. He wouldn't. His voice sent shivers down my spine as they continued to speak, with his hand at her throat.
And what gives you the right to use my name like that? Only demons of the same blood are permitted to use each other's true names.
When our families arranged our marriage, I was given permission to use your name as mine. That's what you are, James. You are my husband. I am your queen. You are my Greystraw. I am your Izeur.
You guys are not married. You're not even engaged. So no, he's not. I could hear James growl in anger. He was ready to bite Diana's head off like a wolf would a small deer. I felt myself growl quietly to myself as well. However, James pushed himself off the floor and returned to the opposite side of the room away from the prone Diana.
I do not belong to you. I belong to her.
Oh, that warms my heart. My heart and my soul.
The human girl? You must be joking. A human like her can't possibly provide you what you need. She's a human. You're a demon.
I felt the urge to storm in and shut her mouth. It would give away my position, but I was growing extremely tired of Diana. Let's barge in and stir her straight. I decided to be assertive and quickly stepped into the room, throwing the door to the study wide open. Diana and James looked at me in surprise as I was glaring daggers at Diana. Get out.
Well, well, little human. You're awfully nosy in business that doesn't concern you.
It does concern me.
Does it? I don't think a human would understand the importance of this affair.
You're asking him to leave and be someone he doesn't want to be. That's not going to happen.
Oh? And what makes you so sure about that?
Well, he is free to decide for himself, but I'm going to say I love him. I love him! Diana stared in shock at my exclamation. Was it not what she expected? I didn't care what she expected. I wasn't going to lose the man I had grown to love.
You love him?
Yes, I love him. Diana's lips twitched, the edges curling into an amused smirk as she stared at me.
So what? A human's love isn't enough to understand the situation. A demon can never reciprocate human feeling.
To both of our surprise, however, James stepped forward and put an arm around me, pulling me close to his body.
I love her.
I saw the confidence Diana had shattered in her eyes. She stared at James at his words. I could see the struggle in her face to try and find some weakness in James, in me, anything.
A demon love a human? Impossible.
It's only impossible because you don't have the capability to love. This woman has given so much to shelter me and my brothers and has given me her heart to cherish. I'd rather care for this woman for the rest of my days than spend an eternity on the demon throne. Especially if the queen is you.
Ooh, that last sentence is a little harsh, but she tried to take James away, so... Take that, Diana. Diana took a step back, physically feeling the sting of James' sword in her chest. She had lost. I could see it in her eyes. Diana's eyes grew dull as she glared at me and James. It seemed almost uncharacteristic of her, yet it was something I wasn't surprised to see come from her face.
Very well. Fine. Valet.
With that, Diana faded into the ground, into a purple pentagram crossing her arms, almost looking upset. James and I were left alone, left with the silence of the room. I finally let out the air I was unconsciously holding in my chest, relaxing from the ordeal. James stepped to me and held me gently, surprising me.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I just stood up to your ex-fiancé. I nodded in response, unable to speak so immediately after being surprised. James let out a sigh, relaxing in the embrace. I gently placed my hands around him, returning the embrace slightly. I could hear James's heartbeat. He held me close in his arms, and I felt safe beyond words.
I wasn't lying, you know.
What? I looked up at James. Ooh, this is nice music. Wondering what he meant by what he said. James smiled, looking down at me, moving a strand of hair from my face to look down at me.
I love you. I love every single fiber of you. Your mind, your body, your soul. You're quite possibly the most interesting woman I have ever met. You always find your way into my mind. You...
Oh, my heart. Oh. I stared wide-eyed, blushing like a maniac. I would be too in that situation. I think I'm blushing a little bit right now, actually. Was this real? No way. This couldn't be real. Is James confessing to me? Confessing his love for me? He apparently is. And I'm gonna end that right here. I know this is like pretty much a bad place to end it, but I'm just gonna end it here. I'm gonna save the rest for another time. So yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed this so far. I know I am enjoying it. I just said I love you to the man I've grown to love in the story, and we defeated Diana. Yay! So, the next part should be the last one for James's route, and then after that, I'll do the other ones. And I'm just going to do them in the order of which I define them as my favorites. So after James, I think the next one is Matthew. So anyways, yeah, I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Don't forget to stay your beautiful, unique, one of a kind selves, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!